Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Luke leading out with a turn 1 Mother of Runes against Tyler on Ant. And you can expect that Luke will have a Thalia to follow up with. That's the most important card in this matchup. And it's really interesting, depending on the experience level and the risk tolerance of the players, people come down on different sides as to which side of the board is favored here. A lot of people who play Ant hate playing against Death and Taxes, and a lot of people that play Death and Taxes feel powerless against a deck like Ant, as it does have the ability to just go completely nuts on the first turn before that Thalia can come down. Now, if you're on the draw, then they get 2 full turns potentially where you can't interact, and there is the Thalia. Of course, if you're going to be playing 10 spells to get a lethal Tendrils, Thalia means that you're going to be looking at an extra 10 mana, which is a very large hindrance for only 2 mana investment, plus it's a clock. Now, Luke holding back the Mother of Runes, some Death and Taxes players will have a different opinion about that game 1 versus Ant, as they very rarely have a main deck bounce spell that they can actually handle the Thalia with. Of course, you'd feel awful if it did get, Chain of Vapored or something, and then proceed to get comboed out. But we have... Oh, was that a Thalia not pay? Yeah, so that Aether Vial shouldn't be in play. It looks like that got cast for just 1 mana. That Brainstorm has not resolved, I don't believe. There we go. Can be useful to keep those cards out of the graveyard until the spell resolves, just to keep things clear over the webcam. A little bit more lax in person, you may find, but it is helpful to be as clear as possible when we're playing over the internet. Tyler's been putting in a whole lot of reps with this deck, and we've got a Wishclaw Talisman. These are the early days for Tyler learning Ant. And we've got just 2 damage coming in with Thalia. Eventually, this Stoneforge Mystic is going to get a Batterskull in on the act, and that is going to really swing things, both in terms of how quickly the life erodes from Tyler's side of the board, but also the lifelink, meaning that Tendrils has to be larger and larger to be lethal. And this is not looking great. It's going to be very interesting to see what can be done here. Now, an Ad Nauseam could potentially draw enough cards, or even appear into the Abyss, depending on what Tyler may have in his deck. Dark Rituals still net 1 mana. Cabal Rituals net 2. Lotus Petals are neutral. And your tutors end up costing 3, as well as your finishing spell, whatever that is. Most likely a Tendrils. And now we've got Infernal Tutor, cracking double LED, so 6 mana floating. Oh, 7 mana. Tapping a land as well, so Infernal. Still has a Wishclaw to play with. If he has a main deck answer, we can expect it. And what is this? Is that just a ritual? Looks like mana's being tinkered with, so looks like a ritual. Perhaps a Cabal Ritual from the vault. I don't recall what the art is on that. Tyler thinking through this. It is very likely it's going to need to be an Ad Nauseam, and then just hope to hit the right mix of inexpensive mana accelerants, and then eventually play a lethal Tendrils or tutor for a Tendrils. But no, Tyler actually scooping it up there. Because he doesn't have a main deck answer to Thalia and can't see a way through it. Yeah, I think you probably want to grab a Ad Nauseam and just play it and see what happens. There are times where like you don't actually see the outs. Like, doesn't matter. If the outs present themselves, you can still take the opportunity. And Tyler certainly is going to have some answers in his sideboard. Some of the more common and powerful ones, Dread of Night and Massacre, things that create a global effect. -2/-2 in the case of Massacre, -1/-1 with Dread of Night. Dread of Night costs 1 mana. Massacre, almost always free. That's if you have a swamp and they control a plains. Death and Taxes almost always has a plains, though I am not going to lie, as a person who's played Death and Taxes, I mean, I don't do it on purpose, but I have actually played Death and Taxes a bit. And when I do, any hand that can possibly not have a plains in this type of matchup is just inherently hilarious. I'm talking about things like Cavern of Souls, Wasteland, Rishadan-Port, Karakas. If you can actually play out without ever playing a plains, that can just be absolutely backbreaking when your opponent is definitely going to be relying on Massacre to clear the way. Now, short of Massacre, you really need discard like Thoughtseize to prevent Death and Taxes' hand from just completely ruining you, because they're not going to keep something that doesn't have an answer. It's not like they've got Brainstorms and Ponders that they can draw into what they need. The closest thing to that, I suppose, would be the Recruiter of the Guard, but very often versus Ant, that's going to be far too slow. Recruiter of the Guard is a interesting tutor effect, something that I might try out in Cephalid Breakfast at some point. Right now I'm running Limdul's Vault over it, which I've found to be much stronger as it pitches to Force. And, oh, here we go. Quick Dark Ritual into a... Oh, and a Mindbreak Trap. Super fast. So Luke actually has the Mindbreak Trap after cracking the LED, and Tyler's just going to call it there. Completely hellbent versus just an Aether Vial, but yeah, that is not likely to go anywhere as Mindbreak Trap steals one out of the sideboard. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.